Welcome to the SeizeYourBusiness.com podcast. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and I'm joined today, as always, by Jim Waszak from Success Enhancement. And our guest today is Jim Catalano from Catalano and Cabor, and also the Music CPA. Yes. We had Jim's dad, Jerry, on a couple episodes ago, and that quickly became one of our most popular episodes ever, so I'm really happy to have Jim here. Jim, why don't you tell us about your role in the firm and actually maybe give us a refresher on what Catalano and Cabor is all about, too.
Sure. I'm the marketing director for both entities. I'm in charge of the social networking and the websites, as well as the networking groups and putting the name out for the firm.
And I forgot to mention our topic today is going to be networking tips. So,
cool.
So it's,
which brings me to a question. So, today's world, everybody wants to do everything on social media, but there's still a role for person-to-person networking, isn't there?
Indeed, there is. It's just very important that some of the younger crowds don't really. That they're more about what's on their smartphone, but I would say the above 40 is really appreciative of person-to-person. And the biggest thing I've seen at networking groups is that always have a lot of business cards on hand, either on your person or in your car. There's been so many times I've been in a networking group where, I'll be like, hey, can I have your card? I ran out.
Yeah,
and it's like, you can still maybe connect afterwards, and maybe they'll send you an email. Maybe they
kind of
won't.
doesn't get things off on the right foot.
Right. So, this way, if it's in your vehicle, worst case scenario, you run back out, grab more, and come back in, and you're.
So what would you say? So you're in a networking group, right? And you see this guy like Kevin over there. He's standing by himself, and you want to go up to him and say hello. How do you go about the introduction, starting the process? What do you say? What do you don't say?
I like to ask the person first what they do for a living, and then that gets kind of the wheels in my head turning of who do I know that would be a good fit for this person? Are we a good fit for this person? Or I'm all about synergies. I want to help as many people in the room as I can, either get together or we can help them. But I'll find out what the person does, and then I will let them know, we're a full-service accounting firm located in Lombard, and that we provide tax, audit, and accounting services for businesses and individuals, and see where it goes. And then, there's times that, oh, hey, I recognize your symbol, or, oh, hey, I know this person in your firm, and but I'm always trying to we synergize really well with bankers, attorneys, and financial planners. But then at the same time, there's so many other aspects. People in insurance, they come across families with different needs, and like one of our CPAs does adoption tax credit. So, hey, if you happen to know anybody that's adopting, it's all about keeping the wheels turning, and or if you meet somebody else at the same event, hey, you might want to go talk to so and so over there, or hey, let me go introduce you, and it's just great.
Sure. Now, what do you do? There's two types of people I find that are difficult to sort of get anywhere with at networking groups. One are the introverts, and the other are the talkers. So what do you do with a person who doesn't seem to have anything to say, and what do you do with a person that won't shut up?
Well, that's what I think the people that don't have anything to say, the introverts, is ask them about themselves. That's they're so nervous about talking about anything else, but I think everybody has a comfort level of talking about yourself. What do you do? If they can't even tell you what their job is, then they're really easy to psychological help might be needed.
Right. Okay. Then you try to connect that with a therapist.
You're right. Right. Hey, there's a therapist over there.
I noticed something. All right, go ahead.
Here's his card. But that's I think that's the key with them is just it's finding out about people and what do they do and what'll help them. And the person that just keeps talking, again, try to assess who's a good fit for them. Is there somebody else in the room? Hey, have you met so-and-so? Or, hey, again, keep the wheels turning of how can you benefit this person other than the services you provide yourself? And I think if something great comes out of it to yourself, great. But it's about helping other people, and it kind of comes back. Karma is a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really important thing. Is that's what converts people from someone who have your business card and forget about you to someone who will actually want to help you back. And it's not currency, but if you do enough good for other people, if you put them in connection with certain people, if you send out an invite to events all the time, if you do enough positive for somebody, you're at least going to stay top of mind for them. When someone says, "Oh, I need an accountant," Jim's gotten me involved in 3 different groups, and he's done. Kevin's had me on his podcast. It's you kind of think of, other than just sending referrals, you find other ways to add value to people, and that's a really important thing.
Exactly.
Now, how do you handle this question? So let's say, because I've seen a lot of people sort of drop the ball at this point, but let's say you connect me to somebody that worked out for me, and I say, "Hey, thank you. Who can I connect you to?" How do you answer that question? Do you have specific companies? Do you have specific niche? Or
we're a well-rounded accounting firm. I would say the only thing that we don't do is schools and government entities. We have one of the partners does tax planning for veterans. One does nonprofit organization accounting and audits, political campaign accounting. Business interruption. We have another CPA that does startups as well as back taxes. As I mentioned, the adoption tax credit, 401k audits, movie and entertainment industry accounting, tax credits for movies. So it's pretty much anybody and everybody. But I would say if you didn't know me, let's just say we met at the event and said, "Wow, Jim hooked me up with this person," just go to the website. Go, reference your business card that you got and go to the website of the person that hooked you up and say, "Hey, what do they do?" Okay, hey, I happen to know, see what light bulbs go off. And if you don't know anybody, then, maybe a thank you card. I've gotten those before, that you get a handwritten card, or occasionally someone will send you a $5 or $10 gift card to Starbucks or whatever. I mean, it's not necessary. And again, it's not anything to do it for, but.
Let me ask you about another thing that I sometimes find troubling is follow-up. I can't tell you how many times I've met people and some of them almost are desperate for a job or something. Call this guy or call me out, and people do nothing. So talk about the importance of it and how do you do it mechanically.
It's a good thing you mentioned that too. That's another thing. In addition to sending out notifications of networking groups, and if you know anybody if anybody in the audience knows anybody that has networking groups, forward them to me and I'll forward them out. It's all about getting new people into the events and more fresh faces so they don't become stagnant. But I also, that's trying to be useful to everybody in the room too, is people in transition. Send me your resume. I've been doing this for 4 years now, that I've come across a bunch of recruiters that I have a special set of email that I send it out to them. Hey, this person's in transition. But a big thing big tip is when you go to a networking group, have one pocket for the business cards you're going to give out and another pocket for the business cards you receive. And in that same pocket with the business cards that you receive, bring a sandwich bag with you and a Sharpie marker. And what you do with it is write down the event that you're at on the bag and the date, and then that way after the event's over, put all those cards in the baggie. I learned that from a gentleman. I'll give props out to Mike Kennedy, who suggested that to me. But
he's
that
a
way,
financial advisor, right?
Yes.
I know him.
And real great guy. So in any case, that you take, when you take that baggie back to your office, your home, or wherever you go to either email people or connect on LinkedIn. You have a reference point. So let's just say, like you said, you don't have a lot of time. Maybe you went to a networking group a week ago and you met a bunch of people, and then you got this pile of cards and you're just going, "Oh man, where do they meet these people?" So this, you can look through the bag and you have a reference point when you contact them.
So let me ask you this question. So let's say you go to a group in the morning, right? And you network for a while and you get this sandwich bag full of business cards. Then you come back, and now it's lunchtime. What do you do to make sure you don't mix up the networking cards with your lunch, and that you don't eat out of? No, I'm just. That's our humor. We always try to have at least one humor.
Well, I actually have a legit question that kind of flows from that. Is you've got the sandwich bag full of cards, and how do you? What's the step that you follow to actually turn that into business? Like, I'll tell you what I do, and maybe we can exchange ideas here.
Sure.
I mean, usually what I'll try to do is I'll set up a one-on-one coffee. I'll usually do it at my office, make it a half hour. Then I'll go through the checklist of here's ways that I can help people. Do any of these apply? Can I help you? Would you like to be in the Rotary Club? Would you like to join this group? And the main thing I try to do is get them into a group that I'm already in, because then I know they're plugged into my universe. I'm going to see them every month, and then I don't have to worry about them anymore. If I can't do that, and if I'm being real diligent and on top of my game, then I'll schedule a follow-up, 6 weeks later, take them out to lunch or something and do escalating, meetings. But it becomes a lot harder if you can't get them involved in a group or an event that you're already doing.
Exactly.
Is that similar to what your process?
Very similar, and that way, when I send out about notifications about groups, I will meet them at other groups. But LinkedIn is first and foremost. An audience, if you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn. Use the free. You don't have to pay nothing, but get on LinkedIn, because there's so many times that there's individuals like myself that after the event they're gonna look you up, and even on their smartphone on their after the event, and the biggest pet peeve I kind of have that I still see a lot of out there is on a LinkedIn profile, make sure you put your phone number and contact information, email and phone number on your profile, because there's even people that'll say, you'll scroll through the profile and they'll say, way to contact so-and-so, email me. And then there's no email address on the profile. Like, how am I supposed to, grasp that out of the air or call 1-900-PSYCHIC, But I would say LinkedIn is huge.
So
and it's kind of your digital Rolodex, so to speak. But
once you've added them, you become friends with them on LinkedIn, or I don't know if that's the correct term.
Yeah.
Once you've added them on LinkedIn, what do you do to pursue the relationship? Do you send them a message?
Yes, let them know what you do. Because if you don't, there's some people that kind of go, oh man, this person's selling me. No, you're telling them what you do. I mean, that's why you met each other. If you don't want to know more about each other, then they won't connect with you to begin with, or that's what it's about, is telling each other about each other. If you don't,
Here's a pet peeve, and so I say this, so I tell the audience, do not do this. But I'll get a connection request from somebody I've never met, okay, and that's fine. But then I'll usually respond to it, and I'll say something like, how do you see us helping each other, or what led you to me, or whatever.
Right. And
they don't respond. And it's like, I feel, hey, you reached out to me, you want to network with me, but then you won't even respond to my... So don't do that.
It could be two things. It depends on how you have your settings set up. You could have a setting set up that everybody can see who you're connected to, or who all your connections are, or you could have just your connection can see people that you share a connection with. If you have it open to everybody, they might be farming your connections. They might connect you and see everybody and try to connect with them for one reason or another. Not necessarily malicious, but just for whatever reason.
I usually don't connect to those people.
But if you just try to, how can we help each other? And I think the biggest thing is I'm a big advocate for connecting to, at least in our industry, anyone and everyone. And I think even for all three of us.
Yeah.
The amazing thing about LinkedIn is that how small it makes the world in a blink of an eye. When you scroll down and see the shared connections, hey, how do you know blah blah blah? Oh, that's my neighbor. That was my past boss. That was, and it just it turns you from a complete stranger to oh my God, you're Bob's neighbor. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? So it
is amazing. I notice a lot of times I'll meet somebody and I'll look them up and I always know people that know them, It's,
and so if anything, that's an icebreaker to, hey, I see we both know, John Smith, how do you know him, or whatever, it's so amazing though how many people connect just based on who knows who, and it's beautiful. So
Jim, you talked about trying to connect everyone and anyone and everyone, and And other Jim, you were saying, you're kind of a little more choosy about your connections. The way I look at it is LinkedIn and Facebook are kind of distribution networks for my blog. And if someone sees a blog, even if I have no connection to them, if they happen to see a blog article run past their feed and read it, and then maybe reach out to me, then then it's worthwhile. So I will even just add as many friends as LinkedIn and Facebook will let me.
Well, the downside of doing that though is it's been frustrating to me a couple times where I would say, hey Kevin, Joe Dokes, can you introduce me? And then you say, oh, I don't really know him, we just connected.
But that still could be it makes you not a stranger because you know him, whether you know him or not. On the screen, psychologically, it puts you at a comfort level of, wow, you know so-and-so, whether you really know him or not. It puts you a little more at ease. But I mean, and not anybody and everybody is. Don't get me wrong. There's a ton of spammers that are out there on there. Like you're seeing some from St. Johannesburg, Africa, or whatever. And then you connect them, and they're going to send you spam. Then you just. You know what? Don't make the connection.
You make an interesting point because I get these emails, and it's telling me that I've inherited like $1 million in South Africa or something, and I got so many of them that they all ask for the same thing. So I just now put in my signature on my email. I put my social security number, my credit cards, my so then they just have it. They don't have to worry about it.
Make it simpler. No, but the big thing is just being smart about where you think. There's people that reach out all the time from like just different countries, and whether you can like my father has the music CPA that. He can help musicians from around the world if they need taxes in the U.S. Handled. So he'll get people like that. But if you just see like they're a trading company or an oil rigging company or something in China or Beijing or wherever, what do you seriously, what are you going to do? So you can click the ignore and nobody's.
So our viewers love to hear stories.
Sure.
Can you tell us a success story about some networking experience you had that led to some business for you?
Pinpoint one. I don't. It's just.
Well, you met me in a networking event, and now you're on the podcast.
Right. Well, I mean, I met a great guy at a networking event up in Schaumburg, and it was one of those things that we're a very ethical firm, so we don't steal people away from people. If we know someone's happy with their accountant, God bless you. That's we're just know that we're here in case something goes afoul, and so I when I met this gentleman, I was telling him about how my dad had said in his podcast that we like to be futurists and not historians. We want to look to the future, and most accountants out there, not all, but just there's a lot that just look at, hey, let me do your tax return, thanks, bye, see you later. And we're all about helping them grow and become future clients. So I mentioned that to him, and he's like, my current accountant is a historian. So, and he came in and talked to us, and we've saved him a lot of money, and we've got him in a lot of different angles of just helping his business grow. That's what it's all about, is relationships.
Yep, that is true.
But, yeah.
Well, Jim, if someone wants to reach you, and whether it's to get invited to your networking events that you're connecting people to, or for accounting work, how can they reach you?
At Jim C. at catboor.com. So Jim C. at catboor.com. Our websites are www.catboor.com and www.themusiccpa.com. And if you know any networking groups that you're holding, whether they're women's groups, any type of attendant groups, send them to me and I'll send them out, and the right people will get them and hopefully get more fresh faces to your events.
Well, Jim, how can people reach you?
Best way is 630-272-3895. And also, if you know anybody who you think would like to be a guest on our show, please send them our way, and we'll get them on the schedule if possible.
And you can reach me for a free consultation at 630-324-6666. We practice nearly every area of law. Some exciting podcast news is that we're now live streaming. We've got a 24/7 live stream. You can listen to us on a bunch of different iTunes Radio, TuneIn Radio, a bunch of different radio stations. We're also on Pocket Casts if you have an Android. And on our website, there's a call-in number where you can just call the number and listen to the live stream if you don't want to use your data package and you want to listen in your car. You can just plug your phone in, call the call-in number, and hear our podcast on a 24/7 loop. Well, we got 84 episodes now, so there's plenty to listen to. So thanks so much for listening, and Jim, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jim.